Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Vivian Reed. And you know, my channel is all about show business and the many aspects of it. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so and leave a comment, okay? A nice comment, not a nasty ass comment, okay? You got that straight? All right. Now, today, our video, we're going to be talking with a director slash choreographer and what they look for in performers when they come into audition. And we're going to talk a bit about Gerry McIntyre's career and how he got started. How you doing, Gerry?
I'm so good. It's so good to see your face.
It is so good to see you. Now, Gerry,
Yes.
first of all, I want you to go back to when you first started. Were you a dancer first?
I went to Montclair State College in New Jersey, and I moved here in 1984. And I went to Equity, and I figured out that there's less dancers on the call sheet to audition for. So I said, you know what? I can dance and I can sing. So let me go and sign up for the dance call, because then I'll get called back, and then they see I can sing.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Stop right there. Remember where you stopped. I want to go back to the beginning when you first started studying. How old were you? Because obviously, if you did all that, you probably had been studying dance before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so where did you study?
Okay, so I studied in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey, and my mother and father, of course, they didn't want me to dance because they thought it was too, I don't know, you know what
Of course.
you know what it is. So
Yes.
they gave me piano lessons, and Vivian Reed, girl, I hated that piano.
Me too.
I think I took it for like 5 years or something. And my piano teacher said to my mother, I can't teach him anymore because not listening, because I didn't care. I wanted to dance. Well, that's all I wanted to do. So
wait a minute. And this was just in you to dance, this urge to dance. It was just in you?
It was just in me. I just
Wow.
felt no one in my family were singers and dancers, and they don't have a clue where I came from. They were all like, my mother was a nurse, my father was a shipping supervisor. So I'm going, I want to dance, and I just felt it. I just felt some urge and some need to do it. You know what I mean? And I remember seeing the commercial for Pippin. Remember with Ben and the two girls?
Oh, yeah, Ben Vereen, absolutely.
Yeah. So I saw that in East Orange, New Jersey, where we were living. I was eating a TV dinner, and because I was 300 pounds, girl.
Shut up.
I was a big boy.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Finish with this dance.
So I'm watching the TV, and then I see Ben Vereen doing the Manta Trio, and I just remember putting down my TV dinner and looking at this thing going, what is that? I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So then from that whole event, my just drive just kept going. So my family let me go finally to take a dance class. So in East Orange, New Jersey, there's not a lot of great dance studios out there. I don't know if you know that.
No, I don't, but I know it now.
No doubt. And so I went to Madame Luba Tap and Ballroom Academy. Dear God, help me, please. But they were so amazing. And my teacher, Candy Cook, this beautiful, blonde, gorgeous girl, she was a rockette. So I studied from her, and she helped me so much. And, I was not good. And I was, 300 pounds. So she would she would get on my back and push me down. My legs are in second, and I'm trying to get down. And she would just gently push me down. And she helped me do all that stuff. And then I went, you know what? I want to do this for the rest of my life. And then I went to college in Montclair State, and I lost 100 pounds that first year because I started to take ballet.
No, wait a minute. So you majored in theater or majored in dance in college?
I graduated with a BFA in acting directing.
That pays off. Go ahead.
Yeah, that pays off. That helped me a lot. So I graduated with BFA in acting directing and moved to New York City in 1984.
Wow.
I know. I think it's still holding. But so I got here, and I got my equity card the first week I got here, which was kind of amazing, but just singing and dancing. And then I figured out that there's less people auditioning for dancers and more people auditioning for singers. So I got myself on that dancer list, and then I would dance, and then I would sing, and then I would get called back, and then I would act, and then I got the job. But I think, strategy, you just have to figure out what's the best way to be seen.
Yes.
I was seen that way as a dancer first. And then I, just started dancing.
Okay, well, let's talk about that for a minute. I think for you to get your equity card that fast, that's different from how it is today. I mean, today, from what I understand, there's points. You have to do so many shows. It was, I think, a little bit different back then, don't you think?
Oh my God, absolutely, Vivian. It was hard, but it was much easier than it is now. You didn't have to do I think it's 50 points. You have to do all these shows and not get
Child,
paid.
please. And for me, I got my equity card. My first show, of course, Clive Barnes put in the newspaper. It was called, the name of the show was called That's Entertainment. And he put That's Entertainment with a question mark. But I got great reviews. He gave me great reviews. But that was my first show. And out of that show, just like you, I got my equity card. But certainly it is different today. So, okay, so you went on and you functioned as a dancer doing a lot of shows. And then you moved over into into choreography.
No, I did this for I just kept going dancing. I did Uptown and Top with Maurice Hines. You know Maurice really well.
Yes.
So, we danced our butts off. We were at the Lunfontaine. We had oxygen in the wings. That's how much we danced.
Ooh,
And Maurice, there's no rest. And he fills every one of those 8 counts. So needless to say, I was not 300 pounds anymore. I was thin. And we danced about LaChance was in it. That was her first Broadway show too. We were kids and we got it. It closed in 2 weeks.
Child, I've been part of them shows that closed in 2 weeks. Marie Christine lasted with Audra McDonald lasted what? I think it was only 4 weeks. That entertainment lasted 2 weeks. And there was one other show that I did that lasted 2 weeks. I think everybody who's in show business has had that happen to them. Not everything we do is going to be a gigantic hit.
Exactly. But you know what they never taught me in school, Vivian? They never taught me to save your money, which is what I like to tell everybody. You know what? When it comes, you think it's I dreamt about being on Broadway. That's what's my dream. And then after 2 weeks, I had not because I was buying some cute clothes. I was running around, having dinners and thinking, well, it's my Broadway, my Broadway debut. No, and then when the show closed, I ain't had a penny.
I plan to do a video just on that, just on finances and what we should do as actors when we start our careers in show business, because like you, I had 2 apartments, one in France, one here. Baby, I had all the designer stuff. I had, you name it, I had it. Baby, I looked like I stepped off the cover of Vogue every day and had shit in the bank. Nothing. Why? Because I was spending. And this is what most artists do. I mean, luckily for me, real estate came along. And to tell you the truth, that's what saved my ass. But Gerry, that's a sad commentary, because as much money that has gone through my hands just in show business alone, honey, please, I should have had loads of money, millions in the bank, but oh no, she was too busy buying designer clothes. So I do understand. And if you want to join me on another video just talking about the importance of saving, let's do that, because I want young people to understand that this is important.
Oh, it's really important. It's really important. And no one ever, I don't know if they were supposed to, but you go to school for 4 years and you graduate with a BFA in acting and directing, you think someone would save you. And there's going to be some lean times. And no one ever told me there's going to be lean times, because I was just like, what?
Because I think they leave that up to our families. And having said that, I remember when I was studying at Berkeley, not studying, but teaching at Berkeley, we're going back a few years, 15 years. And they were after me to come up there and teach. And I didn't want to, because I am a full-time working performer today. That's what I love. That's what I love the most. And finally, after I did SHOWBIZ, I said, oh, come on, Vivian, give back. So I said, okay, I will come there if you let me set my own curriculum. So they agreed. So I said, okay, tell me, do you have a performing class? And they said, no. So back to what you were saying, here we are, they're majoring in music, voice, whatever. Yeah. And you don't have a performing class. See, let me tell you this. I have said this before, and I'm probably going to upset some people when I say this, but I don't care. And don't be sending me no messages, because I don't care. But here's my thing. And let me know how you feel about this, Gerry. I'm all for higher education, but listen, when it comes to show business, If they hire you right after graduation and you're supposed to be my teacher, what the hell are you going to be teaching me when you ain't even been out there doing that? What you going to teach me? You have a piece of paper. Now, if you study the history of show business, the history of music, the history of musicians, then okay, now we can talk. But in terms of performance,
Yes.
well, your degree ain't going to do shit for me.
You're telling the truth. You're absolutely right.
Go ahead. You can expound on it a bit more. I done said what I had to say. Go ahead, Gerry.
Well, because the thing about it is that in school, I never got shows. So I was the butler. I was always the servant. I was always, you know what I'm talking about. But all these teachers were teachers. They had never been on Broadway. No one had ever sung and danced and kicked up a leg on Broadway. So you can't tell, by the way, you can't tell me how to be on zero, because I know how to be on zero. I know how to kill it on zero. But you're telling me that the only thing I can really do is be a servant. It didn't go well, but thank God Montclair State was 25 minutes from the city. So I got on a bus and went into class with Phil Black on 50th.
Oh, shut up now. Phil Black, baby, that was my tap teacher. He used to say stuff like, look at this singer. She going across the floor. Singer wanna take tap. Just look at her. I would be laughing. The whole class would be laughing. But he was amazing. He really was.
He was amazing, and that was I learned so much from him. And then everybody in the class was Greg Birds, Cynthia Rubia. It's like Charlotte Dembois. So that was my lesson. Montclair was like, okay, now I know the history of theater, which is good, I guess. I haven't used it really, but you know what I mean? Going to New York City is where I found out how to really do it, how to show off, or how to, have different styles, because every day was a different style.
Yes.
So he would have jazz, and then once I was Latin, when it was a slow adagio day. I learned so much, and I learned from watching people.
Who not? Okay, stop right there. I'm going to make me get up here and shout now. Now, listen. This is what I try to tell young people, try to tell anybody. If you want to know, if you want to learn how to be the best that you can be, watch people who are doing it and doing it well. No audience. You want to reach that audience. You want to have them riveted in their seats. You have to give them something to watch.
Yeah.
Move over, sun, and give me some sky. I've got me some wings. I'm eager to try. What? Are you kidding me?
Well, the thing about it that they taught us in the class was to find a spot on the wall and stay put, because they were saying the people who are auditioning you, they don't want you to look at them because they get nervous. First of all, they never told me that the audition starts when I walk in the door. You know what I'm saying? As soon as I'm behind the table, and as soon as they walk in the door, I see how they greet me, how they go to talk to the pianist. All of that stuff matters, because now I don't want you to be in my show, because I don't want to spend time with you because you have no respect. If they're doing, with the piano player going, no, it's like this, and the snapping. And no, we treat everyone with respect no matter what. And these are the people I want to work with. And maybe you're not as great as the singer as that first girl who was snapping the pianist, but that second girl who treated everyone with respect is getting the gig. Because I want to be in the room with her. I don't want to be in the room with somebody who's snarky. You can tell from the minute they walk in the door.
Yes, it starts from when you walk in the door. And I think it's wonderful to say hello. My name is blah, 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 after you've spoken to the pianist and give him an idea of how you want your song to go, because they don't know. So you have to explain to him or her how you want the song to go, and give them an idea of tempo. And then you come over and you address the people who are auditioning you. After that, you have to go ahead and sell your song. And what I'm talking about, Gerry, is when they are focused at a spot on the wall in front of them and that they don't leave that spot. That is not performing.
You're absolutely right. And you're not going to get hired. And because there's so many people who just think that that's it. That I'm looking at the spot and I'm singing and that's it. That's all I need to do. And then you decide. But you have to perform.
Can you imagine talking to somebody with your arms like this, and then you looking at them like this, and you don't do anything? Number one, you look crazy. Okay. What does the song mean to you? And only until you can say what a song means to you and understand and put it here, can you deliver it.
That's the only way. That's the only way. And if you, and you know, because you know what it is too, it's that they don't do their homework. They said, oh, you know what? This song seems cute. I'm singing a G at the end. Everyone says I sound great singing. But what is it about? What is it about? You're just singing a song because they have high notes in it? And that's that youth. Because that's what because they see those young, like, you know, listen, Ben Platt has changed all of these boys coming in and singing for me. And I'm like, why are you singing high? And you don't know what you're singing about. And
especially if it might be out of their range.
Exactly.
Honey, Ben Platt will cost your ass to lose your vocal folds, child. You can't be messing around unless you have that kind of range. You don't do that.
They want someone, voice teacher told them that they sound great singing. So they come in and they really don't, like, you know, when you're sitting behind the table and you're leaning back, like, are you going to make it? You get nervous for them. So this is what that new thing is. And they all just want to do that Ben Platt. And I'm like, well, first of all, it's not interesting unless you're Ben Platt. Because you're just singing high notes and you're not acting at all. Your eyes are closed and you're screeching in the rehearsal room.
Okay, Gerry, what are you looking for as a director when a young person comes in or anyone comes in?
Yeah, first of all, I always say when I teach class to kids, there is no one like you. There is no one like Vivian Reed. There is no one like Gerry McIntyre. You are special. So know that from coming in. I know there's like 50 other people on the, auditioning for the same thing and it's 16 bars or whatever the thing is, but you are special. You are the special person. There's no one like me. When I walked in that room and, that time it was like, we were all friends because we were all up for the same thing. No one was like me. That's what my specialty was me. So I walked in the room and I let the kids have Gerry McIntyre.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. There's no one like me. So
but you went in there and you performed. That's what I'm saying. You performed. Yes. See, there should be no difference from when we walk onto a stage in front of 1,000, 10,000, 250, one person and audition. It's all the same. You should always be in performance mode. And a lot of times when you really know what you're singing about, a lot of times that will alleviate or take care of your nervousness. Jeez. Because you will be, I call it zoning. Baby, I get in the zone, honey. I get in the zone and I'm just ready to deliver that message.
Right. That's you. And you have to get in this. And you know what? The thing that also being prepared.
Yes.
Be prepared. If you're auditioning for Chicago, don't come and sing some pop song for us. It's candor and ebb. So now you didn't do your homework. You don't really care. You saw the movie with Catherine Zeta-Jones, probably. You don't know Candor and Ebb. You didn't know that Chita Rivera originated the role. All of that information from when you come into the room and sing is important. And that's
but Gerry, what if, because a lot of breakdowns don't specify, like for instance, if it is a candor in that piece, and I have seen where they say in the breakdown, you don't have to bring a candor and a piece in, but it has to be musical theater. And then maybe when you get down to the second callback or the third callback, they will then say, I need you to learn this particular candor and ebb song. But the thing is, what I definitely agree with you on is if you know you going in for musical theater, what the hell are you bringing some R&B song or some pop song in? So I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Then that's, and that, so you, of course, then I think behind the table going, well, I don't know why you're singing Respect or something for like, hold that.
Stop it now, Gerry. Stop it.
But they're like, this is my song. This is all I know. But
what you want, baby, I got it.
That they want to be Velma Kelly. It's like, you ain't gonna get Velma Kelly, sweetie, not now. But to me, the research is important. You have to know what you're doing, where the show comes from. First of all, who Bob Fosse is.
Yes.
Vivian, I was directing choreography. I was directing choreographing, and one girl slipped through the crack. She was a very gorgeous girl. And so on the first day of rehearsal, I was like, so when Bob Fosse did this, and Bob Fosse, she raised her hand and said to me, I'm sorry, who's Bob Fosse?
Yeah. That happens quite a bit.
But you're in the show. Like it's first day. You didn't do any homework? She did none of her homework, but they're on their phone all the damn time. Could you get off the phone for 1 second and go to Google and look up the people who originated all that jazz? Chicago. You need that. When we didn't have it, Vivian.
I mean, a lot of it is just common sense. You may not be familiar with Bob Fosse. You may not be familiar with a lot of the people who are really very famous, but you're just not familiar with them. You know that if you're going in for something, just look them up. Online, they got everything. They have information on everybody. You could go and look at some of their work on YouTube. I mean, you're absolutely right. Now, another thing that I tell my students, there's no way you're going to be able to call the director and say, okay, I'm going to be singing this song and doing these two sides here now. What exactly do you want? How should I do them? What is my motivation? You ain't going to have that luxury. So you have to be able to look at those two sides, look at that dialogue and your song, make a decision, and then present it with conviction, even though it may not ultimately be what the director wants. But you have to sing it with conviction. Read the sides with conviction. Expound on that a bit.
Well, because and that's the part of the Vivian Reed, no one's like us. Because when I got, they just whatever the deal, the callback is to have like two sides or whatever. I made the biggest and boldest choices, and sometimes wrong. But then the director would say, "Ooh, that's too much." But at least I gave them something to give direction to. When you come in and apologize, the apologies.
Oh, God.
Really, why are you apologizing? Why you? I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. You came into the room to audition. You came in to perform to get a job. Why are you apologizing? So when you're meek and sorry, I'm sorry. My voice is. I'm sorry. I can't with this. I'm sorry. Come in, make a bold choice. Make it bold so I can go, oh, well, let's try it this way. And then you do it that way. And then I can see that you're an actor and you can follow direction.
Okay, 2 points. Make a bold choice. Yes, that's what I push that all the time. Make a bold choice. Now let's get to the I'm sorry. I've had maybe 4 students. Every time I gave them constructive criticism or whatever, oh, I'm sorry, or they made a mistake, I'm sorry. I said, listen, I need you to stop that. I said, a director will kill you if every other thing he says to you, you talking about I'm sorry, or every mistake you made, you talking about I'm sorry. Stop it. Stop it. Yes. And the other thing, don't be bringing your friends to rehearsal and your mama and your papa, because bottom line, as I have said many times, and this is cold. I mean, this is cold-blooded. Ain't nobody interested in your mama and your papa. This is money.
Yeah.
You treat this workspace with all the professionalism that you have. You do not bring your family and your friends and your boyfriend and your girlfriend and your significant other to your rehearsals. Because I will guarantee you the director and the stage manager will have a fit with you, and you might just get fired if you do that too many times.
I don't understand what you need. You need someone to hold your hand. I don't understand why are you in there? Why is everybody like, and then of course I'm always going to the stage manager like, who's that? Because you're in my rehearsal. Who's that? Oh, well, that's her girlfriend or something. I'm like, well, tell her she's going to have to meet her at lunch, which is at 1:00, because she can't be in here. I'm mute of Vivian. I'm like, no, sir, no, ma'am. I don't care what if you need like an emotional friend or whatever to help you through the rehearsal. You're not going to bring him to my rehearsal. You can't. Because it's not a safe place for everybody else. Because I want
absolutely. I just think that a lot of it for you young people watching, it's just common sense. Someone has hired you for your talent, for your ability. They expect you, number one, be on time. You don't come into rehearsals when it starts at 10 to 6, and you come in at 10:30, 10:05, 10:01. You come there a little bit earlier so that you can get your stuff together and be ready to start at 10. Your lateness, tardiness, whatever you want to call it, is not going to be tolerated. It simply will not be tolerated.
There are so many people, this is for everybody who's watching. There are so many people in this industry, you guys. There's so many people. So you have to be on time. That is, there's no A, B, C, or D about it. If you're late all the time, you're going to be fired. I'm not even trying to scare anybody. This is now a fact because there's 7 other people behind you who want the gig and will be on time. So get there on time. And if it starts at 10 o'clock and it's a musical, why are you getting there at 10? Why aren't you there at 9:30? Why aren't you doing a little vocalese, a demi play, a grand play, kick your face, whatever it takes to be ready at 10? Because 10 means 10 for me. And
Absolutely.
And by the way, 10 means we're ready to go. Full out 10 at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
Not marking. There's no marking. I mean, that's what Maurice used to call me. He's like, no marking McIntyre.
Well, listen, Maurice, me, and even God rest his soul, Greg Burge, and so many performers who are older. Even when I'm in rehearsal, I may not know whatever the hell I'm doing. I may not have learned anything yet, but you can guarantee every time I open up my mouth to sing, it's going to be full out. And you know why you want to do it full out? You want these vocal folds to know what you're going to do to them. If you wait till, okay, now we getting ready to go in 10 out of 12, the light's going to be on me. So I think I'll do it full out. For singers, if you do that all the time, number one, guaranteed you're going to wake up the next morning, you're going to be hoarse as hell. Why? Because you all of a sudden are slamming your vocal cords together like that because you haven't sung full out the whole rehearsal period.
Right.
So you would want to pay attention. The same with dancers. Warm up. Come in early enough to warm up. So when that choreographer is giving you choreography, you are ready to give him what he wants because he may change. But in order for him to know what he's got, he got to see it full out.
Yes. There's no marking. There's no marking. To me, I was like, if you ask me, it's like, right now, can I just mark it for now? I'm like, okay, you can do it for now, but you have to, because then you have to be able to, for the breath control. But when you perform it, if you've never done it full out, you won't be, I don't even know if you can do it.
Yes.
It's usually a lot of steps with me. I have a lot of steps in it. I did the whiz, and the people doing the tornado, they were like, oh God. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's it. All of this stuff, big batmas and sautés and jetés, and it's there, it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I need to see it.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do dancers, and I know most of them do, but they should really know how to do diaphragmatic breathing from deep down, right? Just like singers. Now, is that something that is actually taught in dance class, or do they just kind of pick it up on their own? I mean, what is the story with that?
I think that you just have to pick it up by yourself because the dancers were not teaching us about that breathing at all. They were just good luck and I hope you win. It's like, because it was, remember Phil was just, Phil would throw things at people. This is a true story. He was having this drum and thing, and if you messed up, he's like, what are you doing? And literally throw the thing. So you just have to learn to carry. You just have to figure it out. And if it's a long dance, because these are long numbers, it's like 2 and 3 minute dance numbers, that full dance, you have to figure out how to breathe, when to hold back. I can hold back now before I do my big dance leap section. You just have to figure it out in your body and I always do it full out. So by the time we get to 10 out of 12, you you haven't waited and you're like, just you're like, the journey of it. It's like a song. When you get to the end, you're like, do I have enough breath to sing all those times?
What is, in shows that you have done either as a director, choreographer / both, you got to give me some kind of story of some funny shit that done happen. You don't have to call no names now. We ain't calling names, but I know some stuff that happened, Gerry. I know some stuff that happened.
I'm going to tell one story that you were a part of, girl.
Oh, that I was a part of? Come on, tell me.
Okay, so here's the deal. I was directing and choreographing Hallelujah Baby at the York Theater.
Which you were great.
Thank you so much. And you were fantastic. And everything that Vivian said today is a true story. A true professional. Never marked, always on it, full out. Try this, absolutely. And it was always a 10. No lie. This is a true story. So this is our last performance. It's a Sunday matinee at the York Theater at 3 p.m. So I had gone out to brunch because I wanted to bring two of my friends to see the show because I was so proud of it. Stephanie Umo and Vivian Reed, of course.
Bernard Dodson.
Bernard Dodson. Oh my! The cast was amazing. So I come, I have brunch. It is at 2:40 or something. I come down the elevator with two of my friends, and I see the artistic director, Jim Morgan, and Evans Hale calling me over. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I give my tickets to my friends, and they say, one of the actors is not here. And you have to go on. Now, now, first of all, let me just say, as a director choreographer, I don't know no music. I tell people where to stand. I do some steps. I give direction. I don't remember it. I'm like thinking that I'll ever have to go on in my life. So now maybe I've had 2 mimosas. So I'm like. So they hand me the script and I'm going, this is really the actor's nightmare. But everyone was so nice. I did the whole first act. You remember I did the whole first act. And then he showed up at the intermission sweating and saying, I'm sorry. I was
okay, listen. I have to tell y'all this. I remember now what he's talking about. Gerry, and I think you had the script in hand, if I can remember. He was so amazing. I don't know if I could have done that because I'm just going to be straight up with you. I learned my role and only my role, but there are actors who go into these shows and they will learn everybody else's role. So if anything ever happens, they could go on, honey, I ain't one of them. I learned my role. That's enough. I don't know, Gerry, I don't know how you did that, but you did it. You were funny. You were engaging. The audience loved you. I mean, that was simply amazing that you were able to do that.
I mean, you know that I probably would never do because I don't remember any of it really because it was that thing that it was just autopilot. You just go,
yes.
You just go and you again, like we said before, you have to perform every time you're on that stage. You have to perform. You have to make a choice. I had the book in my hand. I'm like, and first of all, I was playing Stephanie Umo's love interest, and she could be my daughter.
Yeah.
I can't think about that right now.
Stop it now. You know there's people out there robbing the cradle. Come on.
I was like, of course I'm Stephanie Umo's love interest. Of course I am. Even, you have to go on stage and pretend to be in love with Stephanie Umo. It's like that's what the character calls for. There was a number with 3 of us singing. We like, oh my God. It was
wonderful, though. It was wonderful. And we're eternally grateful because sometimes sometimes people will call a show off because somebody's missing. There's nobody. That's where understudies, and I just did a whole thing on understudies and alternates and all of that. But you were able to step in there and do it. The other thing I would say to people watching, not only, this is not film or television. When a director tells you, okay, I like it that way, but I need you to try it this way. Baby, you don't have the luxury of going in the bathroom somewhere for an hour, sitting down and say, okay, let me process this. Okay, now he wants me to. No, you have to be able to change on a dime. Change on a dime. Even if he asks you or she asks you to do it 2 or 3 different ways, change on a dime. I'm going to give you case in point. In Hallelujah, Baby, which I'd so enjoy doing. I remember when Gerry and I were discussing, when you and I were discussing the role, and I said, okay, how should I do this? And you said, well, let's make her a little on the stern side. Let's make her like this. I said, okay, so you tell me that, and I'm going to go all the way. You want her stern? I'm going all the way. Well, baby, we had some invited guests
right.
who came to watch. I mean, I had her stern as hell. And then after we finished running through, Gerry pulled me aside and said, okay, Vivian, maybe you could back off a little bit because I had her mean, honey. What do you know? And she ended up, I think, just with the amount just the right amount of temperament, because I'm funny. And so we had a lot of that in there. Yes, we still could see her sternness to a degree, but we arrived at the perfect way to do that role. Here again, Gerry asked me to do something as my director, and I did it. Then he said, okay, that's too much. I need you to pull that back. And I did it. This is what a director expects from you in a show.
Must do it. And I remember, Vivian, the thing that I love about that performance, that you fine-tuned it.
Yes.
She was, she's stern and she's like oldish, old school, But when you said at the end, Georgina, you're going to get out there, oh, I got chills, and sing like you never sang before.
Yes.
Because payoff of your journey. It was fantastic. That I'm not even playing about getting chills, because that's the journey. So she, when an actress listens and does, you go like it's a dream. It's a dream.
Well, I think also too, before we come to a conclusion with this discussion, it's that you want to learn performance skills and everything pertaining to it. And trust me, it's a bit different when you go into nightclubs/concerts. It's different when you go into a recording studio. There's so many parts of this business. But what is common through all these different areas of show business is truth. To be real in your performance at no matter what the level is. That's what you have to strive for. Sit down, take the time after a rehearsal is over. Go home and do your homework. You don't have your time. You don't have that until after a show is open. And if you're really going to really treat your gift as how you should treat it, and that's very well, then you really never get satisfied. You're always looking to make whatever you're doing in a show better and better without overdoing it. But you don't have no me time during rehearsal period. You go home and you put the work in, because no director, no choreographer wants to come in the next day and then you haven't practiced, you ain't done nothing. And then they have to start all over and do a recap. Oh, no. They're only going to put up with that from you so much, and then you're gone.
It blows my mind. Because usually, if I'm doing directing, choreographing like a summer stock, we have 2 weeks to put it together. So I teach it like an assembly line. I go, I have the thing. I go, all right, I taught all that jazz. All right, I taught sub like tango. All right, I taught. I just, keep going, so that when I get back at the end of the week, I don't have time to go back to all that jazz. So when Friday comes and we start a run through of the first act, and you don't know your steps, now you know what happens after that with me. It's not a good thing. And I always say, don't let that ship leave. Don't let that ship sail without you. Be on your gig every day. If you learn a song and a dance on Monday, keep rehearsing that thing on Monday, because you're going to learn something else on Tuesday. So remember that Monday one, and don't let the Monday one be gone. You're like, oh no. Now, because by the time you get to Wednesday, the ship has sailed and you in trouble.
Yes.
And your harmonies. By the way, let's open with that. It's not easy, everyone. It's not. We've been doing it for a long time, but it ain't easy. It's not easy at all. Because now the 3-part harmony, there's 3 of you. Then you got to sing, you have to dance, and you have to act. Be on your gig, because you never know.
Gerry, let's talk about singing and dancing at the same time. Listen, I studied dance for 25 years. No matter how well you dance, and Lord knows, no matter how well you sing, when all of a sudden you have to do both of them together, if you don't put in the work to do whatever that big piece of music is, especially if you have a lead role and you have to do this, you have to do that song every day in your time, any chance you get, in order to build that stamina. Because when you don't, I don't care how good you can sing, how good you can dance, the two will never come together.
Listen, if anybody listening out there, if you want to know something about singing and dancing at the same time, watch Vivian Reed, Sweet Georgia Brown.
What?
I mean, y'all, That's all I got to say. Wow.
I'll tell you something on that. You talked about what is it? What's the big machine that you breathe? Use for breathing? You called it a while ago. Oxygen tank.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think you know this. I don't think anybody knows this. Billy Wilson, do you know where he placed God Bless the Child? It is in one of my videos on YouTube when I'm talking about bubbling brown sugar and showbiz. But he placed God Bless the Child at the end of the tap number. I said, Billy, what? He said, well, I feel it should be a statement. So I told the producer, I said, you're going to have to get an oxygen tank. In the end, he ended up, because I begged him, he put it before the big finale, the big tap number. So that saved the day and it saved me, okay? Anyway, Gerry, this was so much fun. I am truly, truly so grateful that you were able to do this, because you have so much to talk about, not only just your life as a dancer, as a performer, and then to go into choreography and into directing. You just bring so much to the table, and it was just so much fun doing Hallelujah Baby with you. I hope they could do that again one day. So as a last word, what do you want to say?
Oh my God, Vivian, first of all, when you asked me, I was like, of course, there's no other word but yes for you. Because your generosity, and generosity, not even as just a person, but and your generosity as a soul and as a performer. That's what you're. It's really amazing. And I just want to say that everybody, this pandemic is going to be over soon. And we're going to be back in the theater very soon. So get ready. Don't let it just all of a sudden, because auditions are going to be coming up soon, you guys. I'm telling you the honest truth. Keep studying. Be ready. Because you've been acting and singing in this little square box. That's not going to happen for long, loves. So be ready. Just be prepared. As before, we said, be on your gig. What Vivian and I told you before. Just be on your gig. And I cannot wait to see everybody in person. I can't wait.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And anybody working under your direction will be so fortunate, because you have so much to offer as a director. And remember, guys, it starts from the minute you walk into the door. When you're going in for an audition, always remember that. Well, thank you. Thank you for checking this out and listening to what Gerry and I have to say. And I will see you the next time. Wave, Gerry.
Bye.
Bye.